My name is Lawn Darts, and you're watching the Squad Beta series. This is episode 5. At the turn of the millennium, the 1st Marine Division, 2nd Battalion, 7th Marines Regiment conducted initial limited infantry automatic rifle trials which confirmed the desirability of a light squad automatic weapon. In this episode of Squad Beta, we are going to be taking a look at the history behind the M27 and how it went up against the M249. We will tour the features and accessories on the rifle, which in essence is a HK416. Check out the Trijicon STO optic and reticle pattern, and conclude with some considerations when using this kit and squad. The motivation behind making this episode was the fun I had using this weapon during a playtest for Squad version 3. I looked up the M27 and was fascinated by the evolution in doctrine and tactics that this rifle represented. I discovered there is some controversy and differences of opinion that surround the M27. To understand these, we're going to take a look at its history and development. The M27 saw its origin story begin in the year 2000, as Marines were looking for a lighter, more accurate replacement for the M249 squad automatic weapon. The Infantry Automatic Rifle program began in July 2005 when the Marine Corps sent requests for information to arms manufacturers. The caliber was specified as 5.56 by 45mm with non-linked ammunition. An initial requirement for a magazine with a minimum capacity of 100 rounds was dropped with the intent to utilise the same standard magazine as the M4 and M16 A4 series. This was to achieve commonality with existing service rifles, providing similarity of appearance to other rifles in the squad, reducing the likelihood that the gunner would receive special attention from the enemy. Characteristics desired in the weapon included portability and manoeuvrability, facilitation of the gunner's participation in counterinsurgency operations, and capability of maintaining a high volume of fire. The key concept was to create a lighter weight rifle that could suppress with automatic fire and do so with enhanced precision. This in contrast with the traditional volume of fire method facilitated by the belt-fed M249. In December 2009, the Marine Corps put the selected frontrunner of the IAR program, a variant of the HK416, through 5 months of final testing. In the summer of 2010, it was formally designated as the M27 Infantry Automatic Rifle. In May 2011, Marine General James F. Amos ordered the replacement of the M249 light machine gun by the M27. Fielding of the approximately 6,500 M27 units was completed by 2013 at a cost of $13 million. Each M27 gunner was to be equipped with around 22 30-round magazines of the type currently in use with the M16 and M4 carbine, approximating the combat load of an M249 SAW gunner. The M27 gunner would not be expected to carry all 22 magazines. The individual combat load would be determined at the unit level. Program officials were aware that switching from the belt-fed M249 would result in a loss of suppressive fire capability. Charles Clark III of the Marine Corps Combat Development and Integration Office cited the substantially increased accuracy of the M27 as a significant factor in the decision to replace the M249. In early 2017, Commandant of the Marine Corps, General Robert Neller, said he wanted to equip every 0311 rifleman with an M27 IAR. By 2018, the Marine Corps announced that the M27 would be adopted as the standard issue service rifle of the Marine Corps Infantry, replacing the M4A1. It is impressive that what was a suggested replacement to light machine guns at the Marine Infantry Squad fireteam level is now the standard issue weapon carried by just about everyone, including the cook. 20 years ago, the Marine Corps squad consisted of a squad leader and 3 fire teams of 4 Marines. Fire teams consisted of a team leader, an automatic rifleman, an assistant automatic rifleman, and a rifleman. A decade ago, the M27 IAR replaced the M249. And not long after, experimentation with different squad sizes, gear and weapons began, coinciding with much of General Robert B. Neller's time as Commandant of the Marine Corps. For a while, it looked like the Marine Rifle Squad was going to get smaller. Ultimately, however, plans for the Marine Corps 15 Marine Rifle Squad was announced. This was 4 years ago in 2018, the same year the M27 was proclaimed the standard issue service rifle of the Marine Infantry Squad. Nick Vaughan, a former Marine squad leader who served in Iraq, said in a 2018 Marine Corps Times article, "Now that the M27s are going to be issued across the board and the SAW is thankfully on its way out, I don't see a net loss of firepower." He went on to say, "The ability to put down meaningful covering fire with the M27 is now universally distributed." These two quotes make an interesting point, as to my mind there must be placed a greater importance on the good old tactical basics of rifle-driven fire and manoeuvre, something I find deeply pleasing in a force evolving to meet the requirements of the modern battlefield. Here we have the 15 Marine Infantry Rifle Squad made up of 3 teams of 4, with a squad leader, an assistant squad leader, and a system squad operator, all rocking an M27 with the exception of the squad designated marksman who has an M38, essentially the M27 with a heavier barrel and more powerful optic. Indeed, everyone is using the same weapon as the automatic rifleman with the possible exception of the 16th rifle not shown here, the Corpsman. To me, it looks like a philosophy emphasizing tactical agility and flexibility is behind the reasoning for this squad configuration. I have read where considerations such as less gear load per grunt are touted as benefits of a larger unit size, but I suspect all the larger unit size will equate to in this regard is more gear being carried by the unit. That aside, a larger unit does equate to an enhanced ability to stay combat effective for longer, especially while taking casualties, and the addition of an assistant squad leader and squad systems operator gives the Marine Rifle Squad vastly improved tactical awareness and ability of focus. It must also be said that the M249 was and has been retained at the infantry company level, keeping 6 saws in the armoury just in case a platoon needs a little bit more firepower. The Marine Raiders, the USMC's Special Operation Forces, have elected to not use the M27 as it is not compatible with the Raiders' need to field a shorter barrel for shipboarding and other close quarters missions. And the IAR's volume of fire isn't suitable for how MARSOC employs its Raiders on the battlefield. Major Nicholas Manuela, a Marine Corps Special Operations Command spokesman, told Marine Corps Times in a February 2018 article that the M27 doesn't provide an additional capability or advantage over the M4A1 with SOCON upper receiver group as the standard rifle carried by Raiders. He went on to say, given the smaller size of our operational units, the M249's volume of fire provides a greater tactical benefit than the advantages provided by the M27. Squad, for game balance, fun, and other reasons that I am not going to get into, has 9-man squads. Within this in-game framework, the M27 is available via the squad roll automatic rifleman option. Squad leaders can also choose an M27 with iron sights. One M249 is also available via the automatic rifleman option in squad fire support roles. Based upon available weapon choices for other kits and roles, the USMC faction within squad appears to be a depiction of weapons that would have been in use a few years either side of 2010. The difference in volume of fire between the belt-fed M249 and magazine-fed M27 should be fairly obvious to understand. While using a cyclic rate of fire would be very uncommon, this demonstration shows that a 100-round belt essentially lasts 3 times longer than a 30-round magazine at that rate of fire. Originally, the M27 concept included plans for a 100-round magazine which was dropped in favour of the 30-round Stenag magazine because, at the start of testing, available 100-round magazines were unreliable. Higher capacity magazines of between 50 and 100 rounds are reportedly being explored. Nevertheless, when it comes to volume of fire, the M249 has a clear advantage. However, when it comes to precision fire, the M27 is significantly more accurate than the SAW. Later in this episode, we will discuss how the M27 provides suppression through accuracy. Before doing that, we're going to take a closer look at the features and accessories on this rifle and squad. The HK416D is a modified variant of the Heckler & Co. HK416 assault rifle and was adopted by the US Marine Corps as the M27. Chambered in the standard NATO 5.56 by 45mm cartridge, it is a lightweight, air-cooled, pusher-rod gas-operated, magazine-fed, shoulder-fired weapon. It operates in semi-automatic and automatic modes of fire. This allows the user to engage with precision and switch to suppressive fire or vice versa as needed. The M27 has an adjustable, multi-position telescopic buttstock offering 6 different lengths of pull. The charging handle is ambidextrous, and as discussed already, this rifle is fed from a 30-round magazine. Using the Heckler & Co proprietary short-stroke gas piston system, the IAR directs 95% of propellant gases and fouling out of the muzzle, allowing the weapon to remain virtually carbon-free for hundreds of rounds. Built with a 3-floating rail system, there is no contact between the barrel and rail system except for at the base of the receiver. While only cosmetic in squad, the M27 IAR is fitted with a mini integrated pointing illumination module. The Impact 16, made by L3 Harris Technologies, features an infrared laser pointer, infrared illuminator, visible red laser pointer, and visible incandescent bulb white light. Also attached is a Harris Engineering bipod, the SLM model that extends from 9 to 13 inches, swivels or tilts to compensate for uneven terrain, and is spring-loaded for fast deployment. A Knights Armament flip-up front sight and folding micro rear sight are fitted as standard. Ranging adjustment is from 200 to 600 meters. In squad, I would only recommend using the iron sight variant for close quarter distances. The Marines began to roll out suppressors for all M27s in December 2020. While not on the rifle in vanilla squad, having all weapons suppressed improves squad communication and surprise during an engagement. The Trigicon Variable Combat Optical Gun Sight was announced as the new United States Marine Corps Squad Common Optic in February 2020. The 1 to 8 times magnification range of the SCO accommodates CQB and long-distance marksmanship. However, when the M27 entered service in 2011, it featured the Trigicon Squad Day Optic. The SDO is a 3.5 power day-night dual-source illuminated telescopic sight with a tritium illuminated reticle pattern that was originally designed for the M249 squad automatic weapon. The SDO also incorporates a ruggedized miniature reflex sight or RMR bolted to the top of the SDO body. While not featured in vanilla squad, the RMR provides no magnification, but is designed to engage targets at close ranges when speed is critical. The SDO reticle pattern is calibrated to accommodate for bullet drop when a round is fired. This eliminates the need for mechanical adjustments once the sight is zeroed to the weapon. Multiple aiming points are stacked under the main crosshair. Range is estimated using the horizontal stadia lines. Match the width of the target to a stadia line to determine range. Upon ranging, select the correct holdover position and open fire. The Squad Day Optic reticle pattern shown here has some useful markings. The dot is zeroed at 100 meters. The base of the horseshoe is for 200 meters, with the gap matching shoulder width at that range. The red tip of the vertical post is 300 meters. Ranging stadia and aim points are provided in 50 meter increments from 400 to over 1000 meters. Note that for most operators, point targets can be effectively engaged out to around 600 meters. Point and area fire on a group of targets out to 1000 meters is achievable given ideal conditions. Many infantrymen preferred the SDO over the Rifle Combat Optic, or ACOG, because it had the extended eye relief which made it a lot faster to get on target. Speaking of the ACOG, I made a video previously about some of the issues with the Squad version 2 M150 reticle pattern which were largely fixed by Offworld Industries about 3 weeks after publishing that video. There are a couple of oddities with the Squad SDO reticle pattern, but it is not clear to me if it is by intent. Perhaps for accessibility reasons, the reticle pattern, stadia markings and mil scales are a bit different to those found on an actual SDO. While thematically similar, as of version 3.3 of Squad, there are the following major differences. Because the actual SDO was originally designed as a full mission profile sighting system for the M249, the reticle pattern accommodates the different 14.5 or 19.5 barrel lengths available for the M249. The long 19.5-inch M249 barrel holdovers are in the same position as the ranging stadia. This means after finding range, you're in the correct point of aim, point of impact position to engage. When using the shorter 14.5-inch M249 barrel, first determine range to target, then move to the sub-stadia line holdover position to engage. This gives the corrected point of aim, point of impact position for the shorter barrel length. Operators using the M27 with SDO use the same method as the short M249 barrel. As such, the training manual for the SDO mounted on an M27 with 16.5-inch barrel states, range target utilizing the large number stadia lines from 400 meters to 1000 meters, and then transition to the smaller sub-stadia line for point of aim, point of impact. This is due to the change of barrel lengths. In Squad, this does not apply. There is no need to transition to the smaller sub-stadia lines for the correct holdover after ranging. In fact, these smaller stadia lines essentially give 50-meter point of aim, point of impact increments. The smaller sub-stadia are not particularly intuitive for stadiometric ranging, as they do not represent a 19-inch shoulder width at the given holdover. In Squad, it is relatively easy and an accurate determination of range to use the 400 and 500 meter marks. However, beyond 600 meters, the accuracy of these for determining range is questionable and very difficult due to how small these gaps are on screen. This is where another difference exists. On an actual SDO, the gap between the 600 meter through to 1000 meter vertical mil dots and adjacent stadia lines is 19 inches, and thus 38 inches for the gap between the stadia lines. 38 inches is an approximation for the length of a human torso. The half gap is used to range shoulder width, and the full gap is used to range the torso of a prone target. Once range has been determined, you would move to the sub-stadia line underneath for the correct holdover for the M27. In Squad, unless you have a large 4K display and eagle vision, it is practically impossible to resolve a 19-inch shoulder width using the half gaps. For both reticle patterns, the longer stadia lines can be used for range estimation based upon a standard vehicle's tyres. On the actual SDO, the tyres will fit between the mil dot and the end of the adjacent stadia line in the front rear view, and from edge of stadia line to stadia line in the side view. In Squad, the tyres fit between the mil dot and the adjacent stadia line for a side-on view only, and as such are only useful for ranging at each respective holdover based upon a vehicle that is side-on. Finally, the other major difference worth pointing out is there isn't as intuitive a 300 meter ranging method for the Squad SDO as there is on the actual SDO. The horseshoe functions a little differently. On the actual SDO, the horseshoe pattern gives the following ranges. For 200 meters, shoulders will touch the lateral sides of the illuminated horseshoe. For 300 meters, shoulders will touch the two disconnected ends at 6 o'clock. In contrast, in Squad, the gap at the base of the reticle is 19 inches at 200 meters and is also the holdover for 200 meters, and there is no 300 meter range that can be determined by using any part of the horseshoe. A hack is to use the distance between the 400 meter stadia line and open base of the horseshoe to match to a target's standing height for 300 meters. Then use the red tip of the vertical post as a 300 meter holdover, which is the same point of aim, point of impact position as found on the actual SDO. Now, please don't misunderstand me. I am not suggesting that Off-World Industries should fix the current SDO reticle pattern in Squad to be exactly the same as the real-life SDO reticle pattern. If anything, that is going to make it harder, less intuitive, and more confusing for players to use. I simply thought it would be interesting to detail how the actual SDO is used with its dual reticle pattern, and to point out how the current Squad SDO functions. 90% of Squad players, 90% of the time, can get away with not caring about any of this and simply try to click heads, as that will work fairly effectively out to 150 meters. However, The squad beta connoisseur and those wanting headshot kills out to and beyond 400 meters will appreciate that equipping yourself with a good understanding of how to effectively and accurately determine range with the squad STO and what the corresponding holdover position is will make you deadlier. Let me start by telling you what I like about using the M27 in the context of squad. It's versatile. It embodies an automatic rifle on the move. The M27 gives you the confidence to be able to respond quickly and precisely in an engagement right when the proverbial hits the fan. Unlike the SAW, where consistent and even vaguely accurate fire beyond 100 meters without being bipoded is very difficult. This M27 operator is immediately suppressing and eliminating the enemy at 400 meters, allowing the rest of his squad to get to cover and get set to also return fire. This is exactly what you want as an infantryman looking to close with and destroy the enemy. In semi-automatic, the M27 is accurate and a joy to use. Full automatic is of course very handy for CQC. In squad, it is a rookie mistake to go cyclic, even if you are bipoded. And if you are not, you are going to really struggle to control the recoil and burn through the 30-round magazine in a touch over 2 seconds. You want to be using short, controlled bursts of fire. This has 2 advantages, namely conserving ammunition and thus extending the length of time your gun is up, and improved accuracy, increasing the likelihood of suppressing or eliminating the target. There are 2 concepts intersecting here, so let's take a moment to be clear with our definitions. The M27 has 2 available fire modes, semi and full automatic. These are a characteristic of the weapon system. The weapon's fire modes are independent of and should not be confused with the 2 rates of fire a typical Marine is trained to use on the battlefield. These fire rates are called sustained and rapid and describe the operator's use of the weapon system. The sustained rate is a rate at which the shooter maximizes the economy of rounds while still accurately and consistently engaging the target. The more aggressive, rapid rate is employed to overwhelm the enemy by volume of accurate fires in order to seize or regain fire superiority. However, the rates of fire are ultimately determined by how fast you can accurately engage the enemy and create the battlefield effects consistent with the tactical situation on hand. You want your ammunition to last the duration of the current engagement and still be prepared for the next one. Looking to tactically reload when appropriate helps ensure you don't run out of pew-pew at a critical moment. You should always be aware of the remaining rounds available. With all this in mind, I generally use the M27 on semi-auto for the majority of engagements beyond 50 meters, even if bipod stabilized. This conserves your magazine, enhances accuracy, reduces the firing signature of your position, and reduces the chances you are caught off guard with a near empty magazine should a new threat or target of opportunity present itself. Caveats to this would be engaging fast-moving targets perpendicular to your direction of fire, such as soft vehicles, or enemy combatants sprinting from cover to cover. In these situations, laying down short streams of lead can be more effective. As I said previously, the versatility of the Squad M27 is a large part of its appeal. The only real drawback in-game is that it does not come with an ammo bag. In comparison, the Squad M16A4 with M150 doesn't have a bipod nor match the M27's higher fire rate, accuracy or better controllability, although it does have a higher magnification optic and riflemen do get an ammo bag with it. The M249 SAW for the USMC has the same SDO optic as the M27 but can only fire in fully automatic, making control when not bipod stabilised difficult and cumbersome. The lower accuracy of the M249 is typically overcome by the sheer volume of fire the 100 round box magazine allows. The SAW is a beast and a lot of fun to use, but it does still lack the versatility of playstyle that the M27 facilitates. The M27 is a more mobile platform than the M249, allowing much faster fire and manoeuvre. Some have speculated that the M27 was an indirect path that the Marine Corps took to get more reliable squad-level arms into the hands of Marines. Nevertheless, despite miles of red tape, controversy, numerous congressional hearings and government oversight, the M27 has increased the lethality and mobility of United States Marine Corps infantry squads. If you would like to try out the digital version of the rifle that took out Osama bin Laden, I recommend obtaining the game of Squad, launching it up and immersing yourself with the M27 infantry automatic rifle.